Hey collective, welcome to angel number 315. All right, we're back with another one from the vehicle, the chariots. Okay, all right, so just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience on this journey. I guess you can call it a twin flame journey. It's a very interesting journey. All right, first card I got out here is petty gains. Okay, so let me turn this volume up a little bit. Petty gains, it says being penny wise, pound foolish, and undermining overall success. Chasing pennies and neglecting larger financial goals. Chasing tiny profits and sacrificing long-term growth. So on this journey, I've been trying to figure out, like, what does all of this mean? All of this meaning, like, what is the meaning of going through the humiliation ritual of everything, getting accused of every single thing that you've never done, but people looking at you with the side eye, blaming you for things that you never done before, even going so far as to losing things, all right, things of value, things of material possessions, all right. On this journey, I've lost a business, family, I've lost places, all right, and this was all part of the journey. But I'm like, well, what does this mean, right? So this petty gains card is really just giving, like, someone who's either penny pinching to the point where they're trying to, they're working out of lack, trying to make sure they have enough money for this, for that. And I definitely understand that, also, this could mean someone who has a lack mentality in the sense of someone who doesn't give themselves the better or finer things. They would rather buy what's cheaper or afford what's cheaper because that means it's more money in their pocket. But they're not doing nothing with the money. They're just holding on to it. So that's kind of what I'm getting off of this card. And I feel like this is important in this situation because I've been going back and forth because, okay, my whole goal was to come to this place that I'm at now. And I'm like, I'm just going to go here. I done researched it. I'm like, I'm just going to go here and see what it's all about. Check the area out, meet the people, get a feel for it and see how I like it, right? So I do like the state. However, I haven't even been all over the state. But it's something that has been, like, holding me back, and there has been obstacles in the way. In my last video, I was telling you about like the homelessness, the shelter, tried that out, of course. And then it dawned on me today. Listen, lack is a mindset, all right? On this journey, there's gonna be a lot of different opposing factors that make you feel like you don't have, but it's a mindset. So all it requires you to do is to shift your mindset and to look at things from a different perspective, even when things can be challenging, when obstacles are in your way, and you can't maneuver and work things out like how you would usually do. So that's what I got from that. Of course, twin flame came out, and this talks about souls maturing separately, but bringing deeper wisdom upon the reunion. Okay, so this card came out for a reason, and so it made me think back, like, hold on, because none of this is really making sense. It's like I'm going through all of these things. Well, what else is happening on the other end of the spectrum? And it's definitely a twin flame dynamic here. So this could also be happening in your life, or getting ready to. Growing in parallel dimensions destined to intersect again. The whole purpose of this is for you guys to learn the lesson. And even though you're not going to be tested in the same ways, it still is going to be the same test, if that even makes sense, right? But it says evolving separately and becoming whole individually, so that you both can learn that same lesson, but separately, away from each other, to come back together again. And a lot of people get that misconstrued, because a lot of people feel like, well, this is my forever person and I'm supposed to just be with this person forever, and we're gonna go through everything together. And sometimes that's not the way that it happens. All right. And then there's other times where people feel like that you are so far removed from each other, you're so different that it's no possible way, even to the point where you consider other people's feelings about your partner, and then you feel like you incorporate that into the equation, and then it becomes more of a negative aspect than it does positive, right? But the union itself, and I hate to say this, but a lot of religious people do it, and be concerned about what other people think about their person. But if we break it down on a deeper level, the union is supposed to always be between you and God and that person, right? So it's not supposed to be between you, that person, everybody else, your cousin, your uncles, your mom, your dad, everybody else. Is not supposed to be that. So just to help to put some things in a bigger or a clearer perspective. I don't know why I'm mentioning that. Maybe somebody is having an issue with trying to, put everything into perspective, right? Because here, the walls are closing in. So it's starting to be crunch time, right? You got to really get to work and see things for what they are. Apparently, it's somebody in the collective, masculine or feminine energy, but I'm picking up masculine energy that still is like maybe like living in a lack mindset and is staying with a relative. Okay. We can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do, but you just have to use your intuition, because things are pointing to eliminating the third parties in your situations, and however that may look for you, right? Our backgrounds may be worlds apart, but our hearts remain aligned, breaking the walls that try to keep us apart. Even when the world sees walls, we find a way to stay united, choosing love over division. See, when it comes to love, that's what it's all about. I've seen couples that are like one person in the couple is a Christian, and the other one is like a Muslim, right? So I've seen those types of situations, and I've also seen situations where the one person will try to convert over to the other person's religion. I just feel like it's just what you make it, right? So but in these situations, it's important to definitely hold on to your autonomy, your independence, right? It's really no age on it, but it's just like you just have to kind of determine, are you in a mindset? Because it's about mindset. Are you in the mindset of trusting yourself enough to even take on that autonomy, that responsibility, because parents know, you know what I'm saying? They know when their child is ready to jump off the porch. You know what I'm saying? They know. And so, like, if you're displaying signs of apprehension, nervousness, not being ready and things like that, you can easily get manipulated in those situations, right? Same thing for if a person is just not, let's say you're not staying with a relative, you're staying at with a partner. Some people actually are shacked up with exes, okay? Their kids' parents or other parent, the mother or the father of the children, and they don't even be together. And I don't, that's a whole nother dynamic, okay? I don't even want to get into that right now, but manipulation, right? People just finding excuses to be able to, have some sort of say-so over what it is that you do with your life. So it's important to uphold that, right? We have manipulation here. Critically examining sources and refusing to be blindly controlled. Refusing to be blindly controlled. Let me tell you, you got a choice in all of this, right? So the choice is yours. There's no reason that you need to have another person's input, another person's say so, unless you're suffering from some sort of mental, instability, right? Where you have to have people's signatures to sign off on certain things. So in this situation, you're definitely on your path, right? You're the wounded warrior. I know I can't even relate to this myself. The wounded warrior, meaning you've been through a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, overcame a lot, and you still making it. I'm starting to see a lot of bugs now. You still pushing through, approaching things, your goals, with a very energetic, passionate type of energy. But for some reason, it seems to not be going nowhere. Why is that? Think about it. Think about your stability, your foundation. You feel like because you have the support from certain people that stability, that foundation is, you feel like that stability and that foundation is good. However, nothing more is coming out of the situation. You may have been able to build up something until that point, and that's just like God's way of letting us know, like, excuse me, yes, you do have what it takes, and I'm gonna allow you the time and the ability to see the fruits of your labor, but I'm gonna need you to listen. I'm gonna need you to listen for a minute, okay? Let me just take my hand, all right, and come with me, and I'm gonna show you something. So, taking very passionate, action towards, the things that you love to do, not really seeing the fruits of your labor, or things just getting worse, it seems like. You may have been through like a divorce, breakup, maybe even like your stability foundation, canceled events, things like that have like fallen apart. Maybe you're not able to celebrate like you used to. There has even been a point in time where you had to make a important decision, right? But you're at this point where you're not able to make a decision. So the way that this is looking for me in my current timeline is me staying in this one city, right? So it's like, well, why am I not exploring other cities? Ding, 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 ding. Go ahead and do it. That's the nudge, right? So being like at a stalemate, holding back, saving up, thinking that you're doing something great or grand, or you're being smart with your finances because you got this and you got that. And listen, testimony time. I decided to come somewhere where there's lots of greenery, lots of mountains. You know, it's just really provided a space for me to be able to think clearly. Very beautiful, very green, and I love it, right? But that brought me to my next point for me to say that God has been moving mountains. Like, I can't even tell you how. It's just been happening, right? Because right now I'm fully capable, but I'm not working, right? So how are these things happening, right? And a lot of people will you know, negate my journey, what I'm going through, my decisions, and it doesn't matter to me because nobody was paying a bill of mine. Nobody was checking up on me every day, and nobody makes my decisions for me. Okay, so that's just that. That's how I do my elimination, right? Somebody may, you know, even say like you're unprofessional, or, you know, I don't know. Maybe some situations have cause for you to be unprofessional or just not interested in certain things because you're trying to get your money situation under control. It's something here about healing too. Doing healing work on your heart chakra. Your heart chakra, you actually need that activation to be able to manifest, all right? Any kind of money or anything like that. So we got the Lovers, that's in reverse. You're definitely not in union with your twin flame at this time. Let's see. So who I'm talking to, somebody could have like self-sabotaged a situation where maybe like you were taking somebody an offer, or you were supposed to bring someone an offer, but the cycle got closed out, right? You could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Whatever the case may be, you could be in this hangman position, okay? Stuck, but you are able to see. And if you're a feminine energy, somebody is able to see you a lot clearer too. Clear my throat. Right? So somebody is able to see how far you've come. They're able to see that even though you're living in this situation where you don't have certain things, you don't have what you used to, it's about the mindset that you have. It's about nurturing what you have. You remember when your parents used to always tell you, make sure you take care of what you have, because if you don't, you're not getting another one, right? This is a nurturer, okay? As somebody who could be like a motherly figure. Maybe a motherly figure could be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel about you not needing help from them, letting you or allowing you to work independently. And you know, that's all we ask. We're not trying to be rude about it, right? And if you have like one of those overbearing type of parents, it's perfectly fine to turn down people, right? We should be able to do that without feeling guilty. So somebody is walking away from the situation. And then, okay, so I do see the Emperor in reverse with the Knight of Pentacles here in the upright. Something could be taking a long time. Something could have taken a long time, right? Because maybe you had to walk away from something. All right, y'all. A few interruptions, but we're going to keep going. So, It could definitely have been taking you a long time to get to a particular point, but you're here now after walking away. Yeah, so maybe somebody has offered to help you, but you're just like, no, it's okay. I'd rather just take my chances. And that's exactly like what you should have been doing, right? Because here we have danger approaching, right? But it came out in the reverse. So it says our hidden fears resurface and past wounds reopen with doubt. If we don't face this together, these unresolved emotions will only grow stronger. There's a need for someone here to actually get out in nature and ground yourself. When you do that, you rebalance everything out, and you know, you're more grounded. You can think clearly. You can settle your nerves. You know, everything just comes back into balance. Going to the park, getting out, putting your feet in some grass, touching and hugging on a tree, you know, just breathing the air. That definitely helps. It says, I'm battling my insecurities and re-examining our relationship. It is life-altering and also extremely empowering. At times, I struggle, but I know you are my secret weapon. Listen, ooh. These messages been coming out real strong, okay? So yeah, basically this is just saying there's definitely a need to face things together. Eliminating the distractions. Also, you know, there's a lot of people in energy that just, they're waiting on that moment of doubt to come in. Oh man, I shouldn't be doing this. Or trying to retrace your steps, wanting to go back and do this, do X, Y, and Z. No, okay? That's the perfect opportunity for the devil to come in and steal exactly what you got going on for yourself. So, once again, it's mindset, right? Making sure you stay grounded. Making sure you stay on your P's, your Q's, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. All right. And yeah, so, you know, those were the messages that I have for you. So what I'm going to be planning on doing is going to explore, okay? Once you start progressing along in your journey, then, you know, things get clearer for your partner as well. Anywho, I hope these messages helped. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, peace.